Alright, guys, so James Gunn has come out and tried to clarify DCU Canon. I'll just play what he had to say, and then I'll jump into my thoughts. Oh, I guess so this is coming from the official Peacemaker account, and he's saying, my show is canon, and I've always said that. So, a little bit of fourth wall breaking. We love to see it, I suppose. Anyways, James Gunn explains the new DCU.
The DCU begins canonically with Creature Commandos, and then Superman continues the DCU, and then Peacemaker Season 2 continues from there. Now, that's the basics. If you really want to keep it simple and not confused, just know that those three things are canon. Anything that we show in the previously seen on Peacemaker then becomes canon. Anything that they talk about having happened in the old world, that then becomes canon. We know, for instance, that Rick Flag's son was killed in Corto Maltese because we hear him talk about it in Creature Commandos. But what you really need to know is everything is canon from Creature Commandos, Superman, through Peacemaker Season 2. That's for the people that really want to get into the weeds.
Okay, so I think if I'm understanding him correctly, essentially what he's saying is that the DCEU, none of it is canon. It's just not canon. There are things that happened in the DCU, the new DCU, that mirror what happened in the old DCU. So, kind of like he said, we hear Rick Flag in Creature Commandos say that his son got killed. Now, did his son get killed by Peacemaker? Well, the trailer doesn't explicitly say it, but I imagine in Peacemaker Season 2, they are gonna confirm that, because a part of that season is gonna be Rick Flag Sr. confronting Peacemaker. But and just for the sake of argument here, as of right now, was it Peacemaker that killed his son? We don't know. We have to wait for it to get confirmed in the DCU. Did it happen with the same permutation of the Suicide Squad? Like, was Harley Quinn there? Was Polka Dot Man there? Was Bloodsport there? Was Ratcatcher 2 there? Were all those characters there? Were they played? Did they look like the characters from the Suicide Squad? Are they all played by the same actors and actresses? None of that it has been established. We cannot take any of that as a fact. The only thing that we can take for fact is that Rick Flag Sr.'s son got killed, and we assume that the show Peacemaker Season 2 is going to confirm that he got killed by Peacemaker. I don't hate that. I actually think that that's a pretty fine way to go about things. Now, let's be real, though. It is kind of confusing, I feel like, for general audiences, right? Like, we listened to that Twitter video, and at least me personally had to sit here for a minute and really think about it. It's not intuitive. I think I could see just like your average audience member being confused. And is Peacemaker Season 2 going to go into this? Like, are they going to really establish that, like, all of these rules? Will somebody just be able to watch Peacemaker Season 2 and just easily accept all of this? I don't know. And if they do go into it, is that going to make the show worse because it feels like we're getting bogged down in lore discussions? This is a potential just good criticism that can be had for James Gunn, because I think after Peacemaker Season 2, we're going to have to start talking about oof, was this a mistake, for him to not just have a clean break? Is this James Gunn? I don't know, this is too strong of a word, because at the end of the day, we're just talking about movies and TV shows, but is his selfishness getting in the way of him, properly shepherding the DCU, where the right thing would have been to have just done a clean break. Nothing from the old DCEU is canon. We're not bringing back John Cena as Peacemaker. We're not bringing back Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. It's going to be a clean break. That should have been his decision. Or we might watch Peacemaker Season 2 and we might go, damn, you know what? He had a really good plan for it and it totally works. and it's totally fine. Nobody's confused. We're going to see what ends up happening. But I will say this as well. As confusing as a lot of this is, if Peacemaker Season 2 is just a really good season of television, is anybody going to actually care? Like, let's say it's still kind of confusing. As long as it's a good season of television, will we actually end up caring? Probably not. Like your general audience member that watches Peacemaker Season 2. Let's say they are confused. Like, let's say they just watch Peacemaker Season 2 and they still think that a lot of the old stuff is canon, and they end up being a little confused as to why, Green Lantern and Hawkgirl from the new Superman movie is showing up in this season. Like, let's say that they're confused by all of that. If they're at the end of the day entertained, if they tell a good story, if they give some hearty laughs and they cry some tears, are they going to care? Probably not. And that is just like a broader point that I'll make. I feel like we get a little bit too bogged down in a lot of these more like structural issues when it comes to like cinematic universes like Star Wars or Marvel or DC, where like, just as an example, we often bash the multiverse saga, right? Where it's like, man, the multiverse was just such a bad idea and it's too confusing and the lore is too bad or whatever and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, are there criticisms that we can have as to how they structured the multiverse saga? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, if all of those movies and TV shows had been good, would we be sitting here saying that the multiverse saga was a mistake? Probably not. Like, one of my biggest criticisms of the MCU post Endgame is the fact that they just haven't made any Avengers movies. Right? Like, everybody always talks about how, oh my gosh, none of the Avengers have been a hit like Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Evans. And it's like, just to be clear, when you look at that OG Avengers cast, with the exception of Iron Man, none of those characters were massively popular hits until that first Avengers movie. Right? Where they in this big grand movie, they shine the spotlight on these characters. They showed off their really great chemistry, yada, yada, yada. Like, yes, did Anthony Mackie's Chris Evans, like, was he out of the gate as popular as Chris Evans by the time we got into Avengers Endgame? No. Or even Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier's a better example. No. But Chris Evans wasn't all that popular when first Avengers came out. Anyways, I'm actually getting off topic here. What I'm trying to say is that we can have those discussions. And a lot of those are valid. We should have those discussions. But at the end of the day, if the movies are good, I think it's kind of fine. like if Peacemaker Season 2 is good, these are valid criticisms to have of James Gunn of, hey, if it's confusing, you maybe shouldn't have done that. But at the end of the day, if it's good, I think he'll probably just get away with it. Because even when he talks about that, where he's like, well, if we show flashbacks of old DCU movies, then that's canon. It's like, what? You're telling me that certain scenes are canon, but others aren't? Again, I think I understand what he's trying to say, but it is confusing and convoluted. It just is. And like Blue Beetle. Is the Blue Beetle movie canon? I mean, I guess you could say that wasn't in the DCEU. But even here, you said that everything is canon starting with Peacemaker. Or not with Peacemaker, with the Creature Commandos. You're not even saying that the canonicity starts with Blue Beetle. So we're going to get Jolo Maridueña back as Blue Beetle in the DCU, but that his movie, which wasn't even necessarily in the DCEU, isn't canon. So, again, if the stuff is good, I think he'll get away with it. But if the stuff is bad, then these criticisms are going to be even more harsh. But either way, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Do you get what James Gunn is trying to say? Are you just confused in general? I don't know. Also, like the video, subscribe, do all the stuff that YouTubers tell you to do at the ends of their videos, and goodbye.